Let us look at proposition number 20 of book 7 of Euclid's Elements. The proposition says the least numbers of those which have the same ratio with them. Measure those which have the same ratio with them the same number of times. The greater, and the less, the less. Okay. Pretty tricky wording. So let's break it down and understand what it means. So we have a ratio, say 8/12. We know we can write it in 4:6. The ratio is still equal. We can simplify it further to 2:2. So let us say B is 8, A is 12, and CD is 3, and EF is 2. So 2:3 is the least numbers which form the same ratio as these two numbers. If that is the case, then this number 2 will divide 8 the same number of times that 3 will divide 12. Yes, that is what this proposition means. 2 divides 8 4 times. 3 divides 12 4 times. So the same number of times is the crux of the proposition. Now let's see how we can prove this. Okay, we are given that A is to B is equal to CD is to EF, and CD and EF is the least numbers forming the ratio, and CD is not parts of A, but let's assume that it is. Means EF is the same parts of B that CD is of A because of this proportion. That means there are as many parts of B in EF as there are parts of A in CD. Now let's divide CD into parts of A, that is CG and GD. Similarly, let's divide EF into parts of BH and HF. Now, the number of such parts would be equal. So multitude of CG and GD is equal to multitude of EH and HF. And CG equal to GD and EH equal to HF. So that means we can write it in proportion saying CG is to EH is equal to GD is to HF. Antecedent, consequent. We can take one of the ratios and it will be equal to the sum of the antecedents to the sum of the consequents. So we can write it as CG is to EH is equal to CD is to EF. From where did the CD is to EF come? CG plus GD is CD. EH plus HF is EF. Now, what does this mean? It means that there is a still smaller numbers, CG and EH, which will have the same ratio. But that is not possible, right? Because we started off with the proposition that these are the least numbers, CD and EF, that will form the same ratio. So since it is not possible, our assumption was wrong, and that means CD is part of A. If CD is part of A, EF will also be the same part of B because of the proportion, which means CD measures A the same number of times that EF measures B, which is what the proposition is saying. That is proposition number 20 of book 7 of Euclid's Elements. Again, let me remind you, there is a link to a PDF book which describes all these propositions in detail. Please feel free to download it, refer to it. And if you think somebody else can also benefit from it, please do share. That's it for now.